Hey guys, we're going to solve some absolute value inequalities, and we're going to do it algebraically, then we're going to do it graphically. You do need both for the assignment today. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our absolute value inequality and we're going to break it into its piecewise components. So I'm going to write the original one, which is 2/3 x minus 3 plus 1 less than or equal to 3. But now what you'll remember is we have another one. We have the original, but we also have the opposite. And so we have to take the opposite and bring it out. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take 2/3, and then I'm going to do the opposite of x minus 3, which is just simply negative x plus 3. Now we only do what the opposite to the inside of the absolute value. And then I'm going to continue writing the rest of the equation. Plus 1 less than or equal to 3. So remember, this is the piece that comes out as the opposite only. Now, at this point, we just solve algebraically, and there's a number of ways to do this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 2/3 in. So I'm going to say, well, let's get 2/3 of x minus, well, we have 2/3 times negative 3, which is just negative 6/3. Remember, we multiply across. And then negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. So I just write minus 2 plus 1 is less than or equal to 3. And then I keep solving. 2/3 x, negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1, less than or equal to 3. And then we add 1 over. We get 2/3 x less than or equal to 4. And then we need to get rid of that 2/3. Now, a lot of people want to say, well, let's divide by 2/3, but the easiest way is to actually multiply by the reciprocal. And that just means flip it, 3/2. And we do that to both sides, 3/2. And 2 will cancel a 2, 3 will cancel a 3, x comes out, and we are left with 4 times 3, which is 12/2. But what do we know 12 divided by 2 is? Guess what, guys? It's 6. Now, all we got to do is, and there's one part of our answer. Now what we need to do is come over here. We need to continue with the other equation. Nice and easy. The only difference is we're using the opposite. So I'm going to distribute in this time. So I'm going to have 2/3 times negative x, which is negative 2/3 x. 2/3 times 3. 2/3 times 3, notice it's the same thing virtually. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 3 times 1 is 3. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. Remember, we multiply across. So I'm going to add 2 plus 1 is less than 3. And then we just keep working from there. Just got to make sure we bring in make sure we pay attention to the fact that there is a negative times a positive, which is negative, okay? And then 2 plus 1 is 3, less than or equal to 3. And then we're going to subtract that 3 over. We're going to get negative 2/3 x is less than, cancels, 3 minus 3 is 0. I need to put that 0 there. And of course, we are going to do the same thing we did before, multiply by the reciprocal. This is part people get messed up with, so let's not do that. It is 3 over negative 2 is the reciprocal. So 3 over negative 2 cancels, 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 and we get 0 times 3 over negative 2, which is 0. Now, the one thing we did was, notice this, we multiplied by a negative. Anytime you multiply or divide by a negative, the inequality flips. So it needs to be greater than, so x is greater than or equal to 0. So there are our solutions. X is less than or equal to 6. And x is greater than 0. Now we can graph this and find out what that means. So we put 0, we put 6. Remember, they are closed dots because they're defined values because they're equal to, okay? And then we just need to graph. It says x is greater than 0. Okay, so x is greater than 0 and x is less than 6. So we go to 6 and we shade, and notice it is in between there. It's the two answers. So if I put this in interval notation right now, I'd say this is between 0 and 6. Now, one thing I want to do is I want to show this graphically. Okay, and so hopefully that's helped you out. I'm going to go ahead and throw this on the graph. And so let's go over here. I'm going to type in 2/3. I'm going to put absolute value. I'm going to put x, and let's continue with that. It is x minus 3 plus 1. Okay, and what we want it to do is be greater, or I'm sorry, less than 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to name this. I'm going to say g of x equals, and we want this g of x to be less than 3. So I'm going to type g of x is less than or equal to 3. Okay. Well, where is it less than or equal to 3? It is between, you can see it, it is between there at from this intersection to this intersection. There's our value of 3, y equals to 3. And check it out, between there, it is less than the y equals to 3 line. Now, so that is at 0, that is at 6. Notice this is what we just graphed out when after we solved algebraically. It's a closed dot. It is shaded in between. So that means 0 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 6, or we can write it in interval notation, 0 to 6. And that is how we find it algebraically. That is also how we find this graphically. Hope that helps y'all out. What a great day. Always a good day to do some math.